Are you ready to go beyond the basics of marketing? I'm Alan Hart, and this is Marketing Beyond, where I chat with the world's leading chief marketing officers and business innovators to share ideas that spark change and inspire you to challenge the status quo. Join us as we explore the future of marketing and its endless potential. Today on the show, I've got Sean Downey, President of Americas and Global Partners at Google. Sean leads the advertising business for Google, which makes up roughly somewhere around 70% of the business. We talk about AI and automation, how that's been integrated into the Google platforms for anybody to use it that can use Google ad platforms themselves. We talk about change management and the leadership principles that he puts in place to help his teams be more innovative and adapt to change in a growing marketplace. That and much more with Sean Downey. Well, Sean, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here, Alan. So happy to talk to you today.
Yeah, me too. So before we get talking about business, I have got this interesting stat that you've been to approximately 1,000 youth baseball
games. That's the critical word right there. At least 1,000.
Yeah.
I have 3 sons. They all play baseball.
Wow.
And I have one that's better than the others. And so he's a fairly accomplished travel player, and he travels everywhere on the weekends to play baseball since he was 8. So I've been in every state, almost every hotel. I even left Cannes last year early because he had a tournament in Georgia. And I think it's important to do those things with your kids because it's a little bit life balance, but also shows your personal range. Mm-hmm. And what I love to tell people about it is, like, one night I was here, I was in the Mediterranean, I was sipping rosé, was having a great time. And then 24 hours later, I was on a fly fishing boat on the Chattahoochee River. So pretty good, fun life there.
I love it. I love the spectrum there too that you're illustrating.
Yeah, everyone loves work-life balance.
Yeah,
and work-life balance comes in, sometimes you're more work, sometimes you're more life. But I think we should all be normal humans. Baseball teaches life lessons. It teaches failure. I'm a huge growth mindset person, and it's kind of fun to see your kid go through it because he's going to be a better person. It keeps it personal. It keeps me grounded when I'm coming to work.
I love it. Well, what was your path? Like, where did you get your start in your career, and how did you end up? You're now the president of Americas and Global Partnerships at Google. It's a big job. How did you get started?
It was unintentional to find my way to this job. When I started in the workforce, there really wasn't a Google, or at least a Google that anyone knew about. I think it was still in the garage in Menlo Park. But I'd like to say there was a grand plan, or that I trained to do this role. I don't think I'm any smarter than a lot of people walking down the Quaset here, but I was willing to take some risks in my career. And I joined the digital marketplace at a schoolhouse in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, building websites. And I took that job because nobody else wanted it. And I thought it'd be a place I could differentiate myself and build a career because this internet thing was new back in that time. And then I just found myself in a really fortunate place to learn that industry from the ground up. I did some startups, some that worked, some that didn't. I worked with some great companies along the way, like DoubleClick, and I was fortunate to get acquired by Google. And then here I am in this seat. But I think that's because I took a risk of something that was ill-defined, and then worked really hard to master my craft and do well at it. And sometimes that works out for you. And even if you're not the smartest person in the room or the most pedigreed person, you just work hard and take risks, and you're going to find yourself in a fun spot.
That's awesome. I'm going to pull on this thread a minute because I'm also from North Carolina, and your connection to North Carolina and that story was pretty cool. I grew up in North Carolina. I went to NC State and then UNC for business school. So
amazing. So I was in a schoolhouse in Jordan Lake.
Yeah.
Which was a really remote part of Chapel Hill where UNC is located.
Yeah.
Now it's highly populated. My first baseball player's son, was born in Raleigh-Durham.
Yeah.
So, and I moved there because I went to school in Buffalo, and it was really cold there. It's the opposite of Cannes.
Right.
And I wanted to go somewhere warm and find a job, and that launched my career. And it's really weird to tell people you launched your advertising career, especially in digitally, in Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Right.
Like, nobody does that.
No.
Like, you have to be in New York or Silicon Valley, and I'm a native New Yorker, so I ended up back in New York.
I love it. Well, talking about Google's advertising business today, like, what is the scope of it? I mean, I believe, if my numbers are right, it's roughly 70% of the revenue today. But tell me more about the scope.
Well, it's the biggest business in Google, as you know. and we drive a lot of growth for a lot of companies. All right, I mean, I think that's our core value proposition. And as the economy does well, and whether you're a small business or a big business, we grow when you grow, right? And that's important for us. But really, we're in the business of helping people grow their business. And we have these two amazing platforms that we focus the business on. We have this thing called Google Search. Many people have heard of it. It's where people go to find information, to ask questions, to get the answers that they want. It's where small businesses, whether you're in New York City or in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, can connect to commerce around the world and grow their businesses. And it's an amazing place to connect people and grow. And we think we solve a lot of critical problems and growth for our partners. So that's a huge portion of our business, obviously. And then we have this amazing platform called YouTube. It's up and down the quad set. You can't go 5 feet without meeting the creator. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary for YouTube, and we're celebrating that at the beach today, down the street. But that's another place that's had its own ecosystem. It's where people go to be entertained. There's really only one YouTube, and we do short form, long form, audio, podcasts. It's 1 billion hours of podcasts watched a month. And that's a place to build a brand, to build resonance with a consumer base, to get into a community. And that has a lot of solutions that help people grow their business, and also people build careers if you're a creator. And that's really the scope of the ads business. We have incredible places where you discover, you can be influenced, and then it's a really critical path to purchase that drives a lot of value for advertisers, publishers, creators, and ultimately allows consumers and people,
Right.
consumers are people,
Right.
To find what they need and get a lot more educated.
Right. Well, there's a lot of evolution, if you will, in the digital marketing space. You've got, consumers, you've got privacy. How is Google kind of adapting its ad solutions to meet consumers in a more private world, but also help marketers drive marketing effectiveness?
Well, number one, we always start with the consumer. So thank you for asking it from that lens. Consumer privacy is the most critical thing for us. Like, people are coming here to find something that improves their lives, whether it's personal information about something important in their life, or to find a product that's going to improve their family life, and protecting their information, protecting who they are, all while delivering relevance to them is really important. So we want to build solutions that serve that purpose so that we can have a good ecosystem. And for marketers, we want them to be successful. So we want them to make sure that we can go into a situation where they can find the right audience that's identified, and work all the way through an influence curve to get to some level of purchase or intent. And that could be done in a really privacy safe way. Like you put it from a cookie ID perspective, like there are a lot of ways to do targeting, and most of them are privacy safe, right? So we really focus on those things. And I think our job as like technologists and platform owners is to make sure that you can be successful in that privacy safe way. And, I built a lot of the programmatic businesses at DoubleClick and Google. And cookies was one way,
Right.
and IDs was one way to do things. But technology advances and technology changes. And I think what's really working and resonating right now is this construct of AI-powered campaigns. They're really privacy safe. You're understanding intent, you're understanding behaviors, and then we're finding people that exhibit those. And we used to call that machine learning. We used to call that automation. That sounded really boring. The AI revolution allows you to say it's AI-powered things, and that's helping grow. And those are very privacy safe. Like, it doesn't require individual IDs. It doesn't require us to know a lot about individuals specifically, but we can find what a brand needs,
Right.
who exhibits those types of traits, and we can find people that they didn't think they wanted, right? So when I talk to brands, I ask them to do 3 things. I say, invest in first-party data, because no one knows more about your customer than you do, right? So tell us about them. We don't need to know who they are, but what do they like, how they behave. And then we can go find those people on our platforms, and we can make sure that resonates. We're trying to get them to use some of those AI-powered campaigns, because that's how they're going to find people they didn't know that they needed. A lot of brands can get caught in a trap of thinking they know exactly who their customer is, when in reality, they're looking for people that they didn't know existed, that are incremental to their business. And a lot of those AI-powered campaigns do that. And then we want them to have really good transparency about how they get that to other sites, right? And that's the
Right.
crust of things that we're trying to accomplish. And when cookies were being bandied about, I asked my teams, I gave them a very simple task: prove that you don't need cookies before they go away, right? So almost all of our marketers are really well equipped to leverage their first party data, to leverage AI powered campaigns. And they don't even worry about the specific technology. They just worry about the outcomes that they can drive. And we're getting a really privacy safe world because of that. And we're getting better outcomes for advertisers because of that, which is the entire point.
Right. Well, you mentioned AI already, but maybe we take that a step further. How is AI and automation influencing the products that you're able to provide to brands and agencies today?
I mean, they're deeply embedded. Google has been an AI first company for 10 plus years. And that's really important to remember because we've been developing the research. We've been putting them in our products for quite a long time. Like everyone loved generative AI, but general machine learning AI has been in our product set for quite a long time, driving a lot of business results. And we're investing all of our new things that we develop in DeepMind and the labs into our advertising tools to benefit our customers. So when I have a lot of brands, we love to do AI labs and summits, and they come to me and they always ask, how can I use AI in marketing? And my first response is, you are already doing this, because if you're using Google search, it's AI powered. If you're using YouTube, it's AI powered. So maybe we'll unpack it. We have a lot of our advertisers using AI powered search, which means we allow them to look for search terms that they didn't know people were searching for. A lot of people are searching for things that you're not thinking they're searching for that are really relevant to your campaign.
Product category,
right?
yeah.
And the whole goal, as we talked about earlier, is to find consumers you didn't know you needed. And if I put you in an AI-powered campaign that has a broad search function, it's identifying those people in real time for you and extending your audience, right? That's an AI-powered format. It's built in the tool. You don't need any special skills. You just need to use the tool, right? And that's a really important thing. As we launch all these new things, if you walk up and down the Quaset this week, you've seen VO3, you've seen Imagen 4, you see these amazing creative tools. Those get embedded into the tool. And that enables a lot of small advertisers who don't have the resources that the large ones to make creative messaging faster, right? To have a more resonant call to action that's going to work for them and improve their results. Those things all get built into the tool. Equally, that happens in YouTube. We have AI-powered campaigns that help people get through campaign functions, because if you're on YouTube, I could be watching a 15-second video, which requires a certain ad. I could watch long form, which you might have a 30-second trailer, which people are so used to. I might have an audio ad. I might have shorts. Like all those things have to be identified in real time, and AI is powering that for them. And equally, we're giving them some creative tools that help them scale production because they have more assets that can be produced.
Right.
And so you can become a really good AI-driven marketer by adopting good tools that we did all the work for. You just need to go be trained, right? And then you can focus on all the innovation and the efficiency that you can get on all the tools that make your operation better, make you more intelligent, help you scale creative outside the system. But we start by just building everything we have in the technology. And much like your cell phone, you don't worry about what's in it. You worry about what it does, right? So when you come to Google Ads and YouTube, you can do what you want and you get the outcomes you desire, and most of it's powered by AI.
Well, I think that's pretty interesting that it's just embedded, right? If you use our tools, you're going to be using and getting the benefits of AI. As you think about helping, moving from the, let's say, products, if you will, to like, how do brands and agencies adopt tools? How do you empower them to help them understand where advertising and the next generation of advertising is going?
Yeah.
How do you support those two groups?
We do a lot of things. So maybe we put it in a couple of buckets for you. The first is there's got to be some education, number one, because people see themselves better in a world and a vision if you can paint the picture where they can see themselves in it. Right? I think that's always something as a communicator you have to do really well. Paint the vision. Let me see myself in it, and I will embrace it. Right? That starts with, what is their consumer doing? Right? So what do you have to do well to market well? And consumers are behaving a lot differently than they were 2 to 3 years ago. I always like to tell advertisers they're predictably unpredictable because they don't have patterns and there's no traditional purchase funnel that you should expect. They are doing really 4 things. Like, if we want to be simple, they're doing 4 things. They're searching. We're all really well accustomed to searching for information. They're streaming. Like, YouTube's the #1 streaming platform in the US for 2 straight years running. It uploads more content in a day than every other place does have combined in a year, right? So there's always something relevant to watch. They're scrolling, We all love to scroll. Sometimes we're in the doom scroll on our commute,
Right.
but that's a great place for inspiration to discover new things. And of course, they're shopping. Now, the difference is they're doing potentially all of those things at the same time. Like if you're on YouTube, you might search for something that turns into a stream that you might be scrolling. And then, of course, you saw something you wanted to buy and you purchased it. Are you streaming? Are you scrolling? Or are you shopping?
Right. All of them.
You're doing all of them, right? So you have to get people to understand that
Right.
picture. And that means you must do things differently. You can't run your campaign structure the way you've done before. You can't run your targeting the way you've done before. You can't separate your budgets the way you did before. So let me start by educating you, right? So we do a lot of that. Like we try and get people to understand what's happening in this world and how you really get to discovery through inspiration to purchase. Like I think that's a really important thing. And then we try and train them in what we think they should do foundationally, right? So we talked about media. Like that's an easy AI case. We show them how to change that, how to adopt to it, how to create a lot of efficiency and growth out of it. Because the most important thing is it has better results. Like you get a lot of bump of improvement using some of these automated campaigns. On average, we're seeing about 10% lift from AI-powered campaigns on search and over 20% on YouTube. Like you get benefits. So here's what they are, learn how to use them. Then we want them to understand the creative process. And there's all these incredible creative tools that are democratizing creation and the pace of creation, more importantly. And we try and get them to understand what's the journey that they can go on. And a lot of this exists outside my tool set, but it's powered by cloud because they're releasing all these new tools. And we can talk to them about how do you generate really good insights, right? So can you use AI to make you smarter about your insights? Like, what do I mean by that? Like, imagine a world where you could take all the campaigns that were ever successful and learn from them, and then make more that look like them. Then think of a world where you could take all those campaigns and then decide which ones you were most proud of because they were work that represented your brand value. And you merge I'm proud of this, and it worked. And use AI to tell you what that brief looks like, how to build more like it, and shorten your cycle to creation so you have a faster learning curve. We teach them that. Then we teach them how to create scaled creative through partners where they can create a multitude of assets in real time because optimization has been limited by the ability to make things. Like I can't make 1,000 ads because it's too expensive and it takes too long. But with AI, I can find that thing I love that works, that resonates, and I can make thousands of them in real time because there's all these tools that scale that development and there's great partners doing this work in the marketplace. Then I can get into ideation and creation and shrinking that time. And that's important because the brief time for a CMO is shrunk. Right? Lorraine Tuhill likes to talk about this. She's my CMO at Google. She used to have 6 months lead time for a campaign. We release products all the time now in AI. She has 10 days. So how do you get from brief to execution in 10 days in the old process?
Right.
You fail miserably.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
There's no way.
But you can use tools to get there faster. And you can accelerate your development, you can accelerate your production, and you can accelerate your ideation really fast. So we teach them that. Then we get into measurement. And we talk about how do you model things? How do you look for the insights that you didn't know existed? And how do you think about valuing things across a funnel and on for performance? And we're helping people redeploy measurement strategies with the right data, right? And that could be AI driven, right? And those are all great. And then marketers are usually pretty happy. And I remind them, oh, there's one more thing. Do you know what the one thing is?
I have no idea at this point.
It's this little thing called change management.
Oh, yeah.
Because humans are slow to adapt to things that feel different, right? And the number one, if you do a survey, I've been doing surveys all week because I have all these AI labs happening on the beach down here. And I love the first question to be, not what's your strategy? What's your most important project? It's like, talk about your greatest frustration in your journey for AI transformation. In every single table, every single day, morning and afternoon, says change management for my people.
Yeah.
Right? How do you get them to learn new skills?
Right.
How do you get them to accept that they might have to advance how their job works and not fear that it might take it away? Like all these things exist. So you have to have a really strong change management plan, both for your teams and for your enterprise, because you have to partner differently with your cross-functional partners. But that's a journey and that's the education. And that's a fun one because most people love transformation and they come here to solve problems, and we got plenty of solutions for them.
Right. Well, you've got such a massive business already, managing change, new products, launching, this like rapid cycle, if you will. As you think about like leadership principles that you use to help your teams be more adaptable, more innovative, or think about innovation, and even think about those partners, agencies, and brands, what principles do you lean on in terms of like fostering the right environment?
Yeah. Well, I learned most of my principles from my father. So he was a car dealer. I sat in his office as a kid in New York, and I watched how he operated. And a few themes came out that I realized when I was older. He had an open door policy, and he painted a picture that everyone in that building, whether you were the owner, his owner was a trust fund kid, and he owned a lot of dealerships to occupy himself, or you were the kid that came in and washed the cars, you were valuable to the operation and your ideas mattered. Right. So there was this collective vision of success for the dealership because he wanted customers to walk through the door of this little Honda dealership in Latham, New York, and feel welcome, empowered to get what they wanted and treated well. Right. And it was everyone's job to do it, and anyone could improve it. And I watched that happen day after day after day. So I enter a leadership position, and I want to create one vision. I want our people to be chasing the same thing with purpose. I want my people to have the same message. I want my people to understand their role is to solve customer problems and help a customer reach their vision. And they'll do whatever it takes together to get there. And that requires you to do a few things. It requires you to have a growth mindset. I don't care if you fail. I love failure. I love fabulous failure, but I want you to learn something from it and then teach that learning to someone else so it's not repeated, right? I want us to ideate on solutions, right? Listen, that means our number one skill is curiosity. Ask, what are you trying to solve for? Why are you trying to solve for that? What are your problems? And then present a solution and of all the things I have to help them do that. Understand value, right? So be a data scientist by understanding what makes value realized for a customer and be able to showcase that to them. Be a great storyteller, right? So people understand stories better than data or lots of long slides. Tell a story of how people should get from here to here using your tools and doing those things. And then most importantly, don't be afraid to have a point of view, be a challenger. And you empower all those things because you want people to be able to go to our customers, explain the value of what we have, solve their business problem, and be motivated to solve that first and foremost. Right? And that culture is known, it's celebrated, and everyone knows when they walk through the doors in my building that they contribute to something greater than them, right? And that powers innovation, that powers customer orientation, and most importantly, it empowers growth, personally and professionally.
Love it.
So that's it.
I love that. Well, one of the things I like to do on the show is to get to know you a little bit better. We know you've got 3 boys, play baseball. But my favorite question to ask everyone that comes on is, has there been an experience of your past that defines or makes up who you are today?
Well, maybe a few. So I think you learn the most when things don't go well. Right? I think that's the most important part. And when companies go through tough times, everyone always maybe feels it personally. So I always like to remember that you haven't always been on top. Like people, when I meet people, it's like, oh, your life must be amazing. You're the president of Google in the Americas. You have this great job, this great family, and life's been so easy. And life's been easy to you in your view because I've learned from all the things that maybe weren't so great. And I learned that you can't ever take anything for granted because I've been laid off. Like I've been in a startup world that was shut down for no reason other than it was the wrong market fit. I've been laid off because the business didn't perform well, because we weren't doing the right things. So I've learned in that environment in those early 2000s that you can't take things for granted and you must be the best at what you do every day. And you do that by learning and being open to feedback about how to make the business better. And that's been maybe at the worst times of your life. The first time I got laid off, I was newly married in Raleigh, North Carolina with a 1-year-old.
Yeah, not a good.
That's not comfortable.
No.
right? But then you have to figure out how to rebuild yourself. And that's a really important thing. The next time is we talked about my dad and his impact on me was when he passed away from cancer. I got to recant in my brain, because I had to write the eulogy, all the lessons that he taught me. So I gave you some of them that I learned as a child, but I didn't remember them until I was maybe 43. And I was reflecting on this man's life and what he meant to me in the lessons that he taught to me. And it started to really formulate my leadership principle, my personality about how I want to show up in work. And I realized that you can't have a business Sean and a personal Sean. There's just Sean, right? So he has to show up as his authentic self. You have to treat people the way at work you treat them at home. You have to be a compromiser at work the way you are at home. You have to build relationships at work the way you do at home. And I shouldn't be any different in my house at night than I am in the office or with my customers, because my job is to make people comfortable and that they have a great environment and be welcoming. And when I learned that, I went from hard-charging business executive who cared about the bottom line and growth to hard-charging business executive who cared about people and environment and culture, and it produced growth, right? And that's just going through maybe some hard reflection period when you're watching your mentor go through the tough time.
Right.
But so there's a little bit about me.
No, that's helpful. Yeah. If you were giving yourself, that young self, advice, what advice would you give your younger self?
Don't be afraid to be honest with yourself, right? I think the hardest thing is when you come through with youthful bravado, which we all have, you think you know, right? And everyone has another level to reach if they're open to looking at it. Like, everyone could be a better public speaker. Everyone could be a better data analyst. Everyone could be a better seller. Everyone could be a better engineer. But if you don't seek out your weaknesses and be open to them and accept them, you don't know what to work on. No one gets any better by working on what they're great at, right? They get better by working on what they're not so great at. So when you recognize that and you can accept it, then you can embrace true growth, and then you'll be better.
Love it. Is there a topic either you're trying to learn more about, or you think marketers in general need to be learning more about right now?
I think change management.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to that. It's like the number one thing. I think people are trying to learn how to change a culture. And I'm reflecting on a lot of my conversations, whether it was with CEOs this week or CMOs. But a lot of it was about, how do I create this culture to reduce the fear of risk taking, which is like a form of change management, right? Because they see the opportunity. Like, if you walk down the beach here, it's really optimistic. Like, there's all this amazing technology, all these amazing ideas, and all these executives here want to embrace it and alter the way their company works and transform their company. And the biggest challenge they have is, how do I get my team and my company to embrace this, right? So you just can't will it.
Right.
You have to think about really good change management strategies. How do you set up different KPI structures? How do you set up different celebration or recognition structures? How do you showcase it? And then how do you psychologically and emotionally move people to a different place?
Right.
And that's a lot. So there's plenty of books on it. There's plenty of podcasts. There's probably a self-help course. You want to find it. It's probably a YouTube podcast, actually.
Oh, I'm sure.
You can probably find it. And I think that's a topic. Like, I'm a student of that. I love that stuff. I think I'm noticing here a lot of people are quickly becoming students of that.
Well, what are you curious about out in the world? Could be a trend, a subculture, something you're just into at the moment. Just curious.
I'm like trying to figure out how people find resonance with things, like what draws somebody, like the psychological effects. Because as I'm trying to transform our YouTube story to the marketplace, YouTube's actual power is its authenticity, and not of the platform. It's authenticity of the creators on it, who have drawn all these people, all these fans to them because of their stories, because of how authentic they are. And I'm really trying to understand what's behind that, right? Because that's the secret to really great marketing. It's a secret to really great leadership. It's a secret to really great change management, of how do you tap into that, the ethos of something, or the resonance of something, and get people to understand it, feel simplified about it, and move them. It's probably some deep philosophical thing, or that will probably be a book written about. And I'm like super interested in it. So like every time I see a creator, I see a lot of them because crawling up through my beach right now.
Right.
And that's what I asked them, like, what did you do? And you find it's like trial and error. And it's just like, I'm just being myself. I'm telling my story. Like I'm treating these people like my family. And you understand that everything becomes really human. And, it's not lost to me. I work for a company that is powered in AI, but I really think humanity is its greatest strength because humans power all these things. If you could tap into that culture and what makes people resonate, great things happen. So I'm really I'm obsessed with it. So this is my conversation with everyone. I'm trying to figure it out, maybe to apply some of it myself.
I love it. I think it's a great question. It's a great question to be pondering. And I love the notion you talk about, like humanity is what draws us together. I couldn't agree more. My last question for you, what do you think is the largest either opportunity or threat facing marketers today?
Well, I'm an optimist, so I don't like to work in threats. I think the pace of ideas is the biggest opportunity. A lot of people ask me about efficiencies or jobs or what can be taken away with technology. And I'm always a person that believes that technology advances what you can do. And guess what? That's happened since the dawn of time, right? If you just even think about communication, like we didn't communicate, we wrote on stones, we got paper, we got a printing press, we got a radio, we got a TV, we got the internet. Communication has always evolved and it advances what you can do and not do. And the biggest opportunity is to understand what you can do and point yourself in that vision, right? Because that's going to build long-standing businesses and brands that last. And if you don't do it and someone else does, maybe to your threats,
right,
you'll be left behind. The penalty for complacency is irrelevance, right? And there's always the law of substitution. If you can't do something, there's a substitution for you. So it's really critical for brands to embrace the future, understand how to do it, and build a plan. And that has way more opportunity than downside, because if they get it right, it's going to be tremendous for them. And I think a lot of them are walking out of Cannes feeling that and recognizing that, because so many of these things are real that weren't real a year ago. And they see that if they get it right, it's huge.
Love it. Well, Sean, thank you for coming on the show.
It's my pleasure. It's great spending some time with you.
Hi, it's Alan again. Marketing Beyond is a Deloitte digital podcast. It's created and hosted by me, Alan Hart, and produced by Sam Robertson. We have even more cutting-edge marketing insights headed your way. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with our latest episodes. I love hearing from listeners. Share your thoughts about the episode, the topic covered, or the show by commenting on this video or emailing me at marketingbeyond@deloitte.com. If you're interested in more conversations with industry visionaries, we invite you to explore other Deloitte Digital podcasts at deloittedigital.com/us/podcast. There you'll find the Marketing Beyond webpage with complete show notes and links to what we discussed in the episode today. I'm Alan Hart, and this is Marketing Beyond. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of Deloitte. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only and does not imply endorsement or opposition to any specific company, product, or service.